Thank you, June channel members. Join today to appear here in August videos as a July channel member. Welcome everyone to another BFDI What If video. This time it's about what if Teardrop hadn't been eliminated in BFDIA 4. I envision quite a bit more changing compared to when Balloony stayed in Teapot, so keep watching to find out exactly how things changed. BFDIA 4 is where we start. In this one, Teardrop either ends up choosing immunity into the final 15, or simply does not get the most dislikes. In either case, Coiny is the one who most likely gets eliminated instead. Without Coiny still around, Balmy does not switch to Wobunch as it was his threat that caused him to switch. Yellowface does still switch, however. With neither Coiny or Balmy on the team, Team No Name's island does not get destroyed. As a result, Team No Name wins the challenge, while Wobunch loses. In their elimination in BFDIA 5, Yellowface is guaranteed the one to get eliminated. As a non-object in an era where non-objects weren't very popular, he has a strong, distinct disadvantage against his teammates. Since Wobunch won, Pin doesn't lose her limbs. The prize winner, likely Teardrop, may be convinced to pick Balmy to lose his limbs as punishment for not switching. Spongy and Nickel still switch to Wobunch, and FreeSmart still split off, though with Match as an official contestant since she hasn't been eliminated yet. FreeSmart would lose since Puffball wouldn't sabotage her team, as she isn't greedy for prizes yet, having only won the prize once. The BFDIA 6 elimination is pretty obviously Match, only an episode later than normal too. Rocky would also still switch to Wobunch. No Yellowface means Wobunch can't use the revolutionary headphones to sabotage the other teams. Not that it matters, as they lose regardless. Rocky still gets voted out in BFDIA 7 as punishment for switching teams in the way he did. Since Balmy is not on Wobunch, he doesn't become purple. It's probably Teardrop who wins the prize instead, again. Fiery and Gelatin would obviously still switch to get a hold of the Yo-Yo-Light for Tennis Ball, as that storyline didn't really involve Coiny or Yellowface. FreeSmart still loses due to their sabotage. We'll also say that Wobunch's torture chamber gets destroyed some other way than from the contestants exploding due to drinking grape-flavored gunpowder water, so that the eliminated players don't have to endure all that. Fiery still leaves in BFDIA 8, Fiery Speaker Box is still distraught by this, and Puffball's Speaker Box still takes back over as host, much to Puffball's delight. Since Yellowface isn't present to need purple to yellow sunglasses, there is no Shades House side quest. Wobunch also can't use Balmy as a paint bomb though, since he's both not on their team and also not purple. They could try using Teardrop because watercolor paint, but it probably wouldn't be very effective, so they would still lose. In BFDIA 9, since Yellowface is already out, Spongy leaves the game instead. I also think Team No Name would still lose, just because they are long overdue to lose again. In BFDIA 10, Gelatin still gets out and the Beautiful Face Devotion Institute still forms. The only difference is maybe that Fries could take Puffball for his team. That team ultimately still wins because the other team literally has too many cooks in the kitchen. Ice Cube is a goner in BFDIA 11, but not before making Pin lose her face. After all, I didn't mention this before, but the scene with Pin and Ice Cube in BFDIA 5 does still occur in this timeline. The beautiful Face Devotion Institute then dissolves, with the other teams reforming in their place. Since Fries is teamed with Puffball instead of being a team of one, he isn't forced back into Team No Name. With Spongy already gone, Puffball's speaker box remains the host for now as she wouldn't get crushed, so the challenge would have to be something entirely different. I'm not sure what, but the important part is that less restrained, less dumb would still lose. Ruby, who still wins the prize in BFDIA 12, still picks Pin to be shrunk, so despite still having her limbs, she's now tiny and faceless. What a life. Also, Pencil gets out here without a doubt. After this, Needle is made to switch to Free Smart. Puffball's speaker box still remains the host because there still isn't any reason for her to be replaced. The challenge wouldn't change though because it's based on the wheel. It plays out mostly the same except with Teardrop in the place of Coiny. Free Smart wins it and the others lose. BFDIA 13 is mostly unchanged aside from the absence of the scenes with Coiny and Pin. In BFDIA 14 though, Golf Ball is still out, but Bommy wins the prize, getting the treads that Pin won in the real episode. This is where Puffball's speaker box finally perishes, with the TLC landing on her and crushing her, so that the TLC and LOL residents can take over hosting, allowing the challenge to be the same. The pairs would be Nickel and Tennis Ball, Ruby and Book, Fries and Puffball, Pin and Teardrop, and Needle and Bommy. You would think Fries and Puffball have a massive advantage getting from one island to the next. And you'd be right, except for the fact that Puffball is distraught by the demise of her speaker box. By the end though, she ends up winning for her and Fries. You may also think Teardrop and Pin would be at a disadvantage with Pin being faceless and tiny. However, with Puffball still in the game, there is no singing portion of the challenge. The first two islands are the same, and Matches is now the last island instead of the fourth. The third island, Coiny's, would likely be dirt themed, while Yellowface's island would be themed around his products. Teardrop is a strong enough competitor that she could easily carry both her and Pin to victory. I also don't see any reason Needle and Bommy would struggle now that Bommy has the treads, so Book and Ruby are still the losing duo. Ruby obviously still leaves in BFDIA 15. The trios for the challenge are Teardrop, Fries, and Book, Pin, Nickel, and Puffball, and Tennis Ball, Needle, and Bommy. I feel the stars would pull out the win here instead of the hearts. Pin not having a face would mean she doesn't die in the leaded water, which could be advantageous. It's pretty clear to me that Fries would probably get voted out if he had lost BFDIA 15. Also, without Coiny pressuring her into doing so, Needle wouldn't split her time between two teams. Instead, she would be a full-time Free Smarter. Nickel still wins in BFDIA 16 though. Guessing who would get eliminated is getting pretty tough. I'd have to say Bommy is probably the most likely to get out between those who remain. Teardrop will win the prize and would have to make a pretty consequential choice. Immunity into the final 6, or restore a contestant's face and size. She ends up going for the latter option, allowing Pin to get her face back and be restored to full size. This may come back to bite her, but we will see. For now, BFDIA 17 is when the BFDIA portion of the shift occurs, and not much changes on that front, as that's almost entirely Tennis Ball and Nickel, both of whom are still in the game. The only real change is that there is no Fry Smart, since Fries is no longer in the game. Woolbunch still wins the challenge, because in this episode, Teardrop finds a way to remove the purple from herself to win the challenge. In BFDIA 18, Nickel gets out as normal, and we also hit the merge. Since Puffball is a flyer, she would have a very unfair advantage in this challenge, and she'd probably get disqualified for it. Pin ends up still winning the challenge, and she betrays Teardrop to do it as well. Tragic after Teardrop sacrificed immunity for her. In BFDIA 19, Tennis Ball winds up getting eliminated. Needle, Book, and Puffball end up winning this one, pitting Teardrop and Pin against each other. And now we go beyond the currently released episodes of BFDIA in the timeline. Pin obviously gets eliminated in BFDIA 21, just as all signs point to the same outcome occurring in the real episode. It also seems very likely that Teardrop would win the whole show. At the very least, she is all but guaranteed to make it to the finals. After this, there are some changes, but they are relatively minor compared to what came before. Pin and Coiny wouldn't be as close, so the scenes in BFB 6 where he comforts her probably doesn't happen. Team 8s would still form in mostly the same way, as I could still see Coiny being nostalgic for Woolbunch even if he wasn't there for that long. I doubt Pin would be as devastated at Coiny leaving in Teapot 9 though. As for Teardrop, she might not make it as far in post-split, especially if she does win BFDIA in this timeline. That said, she is popular enough that maybe she still could. And after that, her role in Teapot would not be any different. And that's all there is to this timeline. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one.